Hello, I'm Pamela Davis. Welcome to episode 181 of the Well Done Life podcast. Hello, and welcome back to episode 181 of the Well Done Life podcast. I'm your host, Pamela Davis. If you are new here, hey, how are you? Welcome. I'm so glad that you're here with us this week. I hope you stay for a very long time. And if you've been here before, you guys know the deal. I love you deep. Thank you so much for continuing to support me on the journey. I wouldn't be here without you, and I'm just so grateful that you continue to support me. So thank you as well, and I definitely want you to stay for a very long time. Before we get into this week's episode, I like to be really foundational. If you've been listening to me for a while, you probably can recite this with me, but it's very important to me that everyone understand that this safe space, this house that we are creating, is built on two very important tenets, and that is clarity and love. Clarity, really straightforward. I just like to make sure that you understand that the Well Done Life brand and podcast is something that I created for women because I really do believe that women are the foundation of society. And I think we need places and spaces where we can be our most authentic self, where we can laugh and we can share, we can cry, we can inspire each other. And that's what this podcast and this brand is all about. I'm hopeful that by being transparent and sharing my journey, the good, the bad, the ugly of it all, that you'll be inspired to share your journey, that you'll realize that there is power in everything that we have gone through, and that by being vulnerable and open, you can help someone avoid maybe the pitfalls that you faced, or you can inspire someone to believe in themselves, that you can build community and bridges that will pour back into you as well as the other person. Like, there's just so many powerful things that happen when we come together. So that is why it is very important to me. So welcome to a place where you can be you and that you are loved and accepted for exactly who you are. And then that leads me to my second foundational thing, which is my favorite foundational thing. I love love. I'm a sucker for love. I believe in love. And so it's really important to me that with that belief that I send you prayers every week. I truly do believe that when two or more people come together, our prayers are magnified. So I like to make sure that you know my heart so that we can connect and we can further expand good energy into the world. And so this week, I'm actually coming to you with a feeling of love. That's where I think I want to start my prayers. Yes, I want to start out with love. I want you to have love from the top of your head to the bottom of your feet. I want you to be surrounded in good, healthy, nourishing love. Love that just makes you feel seen, that makes you feel chosen, that makes you feel valued and respected. Because when you are surrounded in that type of atmosphere, there is nothing that you can't accomplish. You are surrounded and protected in love. And I'm not just talking relational love. I want you to be surrounded, obviously, in, good love from friends and family. I want you just to be the manifestation of the love that you desire. You deserve great things. Love is not work all the time. Yes, it's the push and pull of it sometimes, and obviously one person may pull the weight more than the others in friendship and in relational love, but when it's worth it, when you are with the right people, when you know that your love is reciprocated in kind, it's worth it. So I want you to be surrounded in that type of love this week. I also want you to have the power of clarity. I want to send that prayer to you because clarity is really important, especially in the season where we are, just healing and growing and trying to continually evolve. I had a really clarifying moment that led me to want to share this prayer with you because I was in therapy actually yesterday. I had my therapy appointment and it was really great. And in the midst of that therapy appointment, I had a breakthrough. I had a breakthrough in the sense that I recognized that I have come full circle. And when I say full circle, it's the clarity and knowledge that the person that I was, the little girl that I used to be, who was just so open and loving and who just saw the best in other people, she's back again. And it doesn't mean that she was gone forever. She was lost though for a while, but to be back in the space where I have clarity of who I am, that I am exactly the woman that I was born to be. It is so freeing. And I want you to have that same feeling because a lot of times we lose the trueness of ourselves based upon what happens in life. And you have to recognize that in those seasons that you're in, it may not feel like it, but you have an opportunity to get yourself back again. Don't allow yourself to be in situations too long that rob you of allowing you to get back to who you were. Make sure that you are creating spaces where you deal with the inner child, where you talk to that child and you help bring her back to you if she's lost. You know who you were when you were younger. You are still that same person. Yes, of course, we're a little bit more war wounded and war tested, but at the essence of who we are, at the core, at the soul of who we are still those people. So I am praying that you are able to tap back into her, because I was able to tap back into me and it feels really good. I'm really excited about being able to speak to my inner child, to have that clarity and knowledge of self again, because another discovery that I've learned this week is that, a lot of the limits that we place on ourselves are limits that were placed upon us based upon the fears of other people that we encountered in our childhood. And let me say that again, a lot of the fears that we place upon ourselves, the limits that we place upon ourselves, are the result of the people that we encountered in our childhood projecting their fears on us. And it wasn't in the bad way. It was obviously a lot of time for our protection. But learning how to understand where that comes from, where those limits come from, allow you the opportunity to reprogram your mindset. It doesn't mean that the lessons that you learned weren't valuable. It doesn't mean that the protections weren't what you needed. They are always going to be what you needed in that moment, in that space. But you may not be in that space anymore, and you don't need to carry those expectations anymore. You are able and equipped to make solid decisions about yourself based upon the experiences that you've had with life. And so now you can decide whether or not you want to keep that programming or reprogram yourself. And so I'm in a season of reprogramming myself. Like I've told you guys before, limits are really a hard issue for me because I have limiting thoughts. And so I am addressing those limits through doing some inner child work and going to therapy. And I'm very glad I made that decision to do that, because as I'm looking to move to another level, I want you to understand that you can do the exact same thing. It's not something special. It's not magic. It's just deciding that you want more and taking the steps to deal with who you were then so that you can merge into who you are now. So I want to make sure that you have those prayers of clarity so that you can see yourself for exactly who you are, and maybe be reminded that you are exactly where you are supposed to be and you are exactly who you are supposed to be. It is just up to you to decide that you are ready to take the assignment and move forward. So again, I'm sending you prayers of love. I'm sending you prayers of clarity. Of course, I always want to send you prayers of peace. I mean, it's been a hectic February, and by the time you're listening to this, we'll already be into the first weekend in March, and time is flying. So please make sure you are prioritizing moments where you can be still, moments where you can check in with yourself, moments where you can love on you a little bit. I'm very grateful that, I just had an opportunity to love on me a little bit and be loved on by friends, but I still need more. Yep, I'm not even gonna lie, I still need more, and there is nothing wrong with that. Normalize the fact that it is okay for you to take more than breaks once a month, once a quarter, once a year. Normalize that you need space where you can just be with your thoughts, with your energy, with yourself, and give yourself that opportunity, because there's healing in that. There's growth in that. There's release in that. You need time for you, and there is nothing wrong. That doesn't make you a bad partner or a bad mother. It makes you a human. Don't forget that all humans need to be able to grant themselves peace. They need moments where they can create those space to rest and recalibrate. So I hope that you will give yourself those prayers this week. And then again, I always like to end it out with abundance. Abundance is always going to be something that I am going to wish you. I know that if you are financially abundant, you will be able to be a blessing to other people. So of course, I want you to be financially abundant. But again, I want you to be abundant in your spirit. That is why it is so essential for you to have love. That is why it's so essential for you to have peace. You need to have all of those things, and you need clarity so that you can really allow yourself to open to life, to open to the moment, and just be. So I am just praying that you are able to be abundant in your soul and in your spirit and in your mind and in your pockets this week as well. So those are my prayers. I hope you feel the love that I have for you all. I'm very grateful, like I said, to be in the space. I'm recording on Thursday, February the 29th at 11:14 p.m. 11:15 now. The last month of February. This is my month, my birthday month. I want to thank everyone for their support of episode 180, 51 and 4. Yes, this is definitely a new milestone of my life. Being 51, I'm very excited to be in this time, as well as with the podcast now being 4 years old. I feel like, again, this is such an expansion year for both of us. And I just truly want to thank you all for supporting me on the journey. And if you haven't had a chance to listen to 5104, I will link that episode in the show notes. But I am back this week with another episode, a brand new one, and a guest. I am very excited about sharing this young woman with you. I had an opportunity to talk with her, and our conversation was really great because I've never been so inspired by someone as I have been by her. I'm not going to really tell her story. I'm going to let her tell her story. But she definitely is an example of overcoming. She is an example of forgiveness. She is an example of prioritizing your needs and learning how maybe to move through situations that are out of your control in order to tap into be your best self. And she also has a powerful story that she is sharing so that she can empower and help other women avoid the pitfalls that she's made. So I'm very excited to welcome Tigest Beyene to the podcast. So if you will grab a cup of water, a cup of wine, cup of tea, whatever your soul and your spirit needs in this particular moment, sit back and relax. She will be with you in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
Hi, everybody. Thank you for that introduction. Yeah, I'm Tigest Beyene. I am very honored to be on your show. We've had many conversations, so I really like it.
Thank you. I'm so happy to have you here.
Thank you. So just a little bit about myself. I am an author of Love, Sex, and Sorrow, and I turned my book into a documentary. My book is based on a true story, an event that happened to me here in Seattle, Washington, where I live at, and got the opportunity to make it into a self-documentary about it.
Yes. And she's being a little modest about her experience. And we're gonna dive in because, I mean, obviously, Love, Sex, and Sorrow is definitely quite a title. And it's funny, before I even ask you to even talk about the experience, did you come up with that title based upon that? Or was it, or if you could retitle it now, what would you title it to?
If I had, listen, if I got to retitle it, I would probably name it, I'll probably name it like, Here's a Little Story.
Oh, okay.
Just keep it like that. Just very, and just name it like that. Like very like simple, clean. I think when I was doing Love, Sex, and Sorrow, I had so much in there that I was going to talk about with different people. Then it started lowering it down. But I think the title, people kind of capture it like, oh, what is this? And I did talk about love. I did talk about did I talk about sex? I don't even know. Probably like the people I was with.
Right.
And then the sorrow was what happened to me.
Yes.
So I think I was kind of going with that because it was okay, here's a little fun fact.
Okay.
It was going to be love, and it was going to be a love and a whole lot of bullshit. Was gonna be the title.
Girl.
That was the original, like when I first, and I was like, oh, this is some bull. And because I always be saying that.
Yes.
So that was going to be,
Well, that definitely
insider.
I love that because I could definitely see where it's like definitely a whole bunch of bullshit. But the fact that you said it was a little story. So again, kind of like teeing it back because this is your story. Yeah. Do you want to kind of tell the audience a little bit about your story?
Yeah. So I was engaged with a gentleman. We were together for about 3 years, and it ended. But in most cases, mine ended in a tragic moment. I was shot by my ex, and I live now to tell the story, but to tell it in a way of, things happen, forgiveness, and how, God really helped me get through a lot of things. I did not want it to come off very like, people point the finger in hatred towards him or the family. It's very like, this is what I went through. Yes, this is tragic, but let me show you what I went through, and let me show you how I end up being, like the outcome of it. And like, you could forgive, and you could, it's hard to move on, but you could really learn from your own trauma. You can learn from it.
Oh, absolutely. And I'll be honest, it's for you to even be so, I guess, so just statement, so factual, so matter of fact about the fact that you were engaged to this man and he shot you. That definitely takes a lot of level of clarity, a lot of level of forgiveness. And so kind of unpacking it a little bit, how did you get to that?
Honestly, I really, really, really didn't get into it until maybe like 5 years ago.
Okay.
Like, if I'm being really honest, and it didn't happen until I had my second child and ended up being single again. But that, I thought I was getting help for being a single mom of two different dads. I was like, oh shit, just keeping it real. And not saying it's a bad thing or anything, but it was just like, how am I going to navigate now through this new life that I have? But the whole time I was really getting the help from my past trauma that I never even touched base on. Wow. So actually, the breakup ended up being a blessing because I got the help that I need. Yeah. And, I got blessed. I have a good co-parent with me and the little one. We're good friends. We're like, he's like, good job. But I'm always thinking like, man, if this didn't happen between us, I don't think I would have got the help that I need.
Oh, wow.
Because it triggered it. Something had to happen, right?
Yes.
So, yeah.
So that means
literally how.
Oh, okay. So that means that obviously you went through a very traumatic situation with, I'm assuming, your first daughter's father.
Yes. I was very young when I got with him. I had my first daughter at 18.
Okay.
Yeah. So that was really traumatic. Didn't deal with that, then left. Okay.
And so then, like, you're in this situation with this gentleman and he shoots you. How do you even pick yourself up from that to love again?
So I would say one of the things, it wasn't, let's just say healthy, because I got with, my second daughter, we were together after 8 months.
Oh, wow.
Of me being shot. So that wasn't healthy. I was looking for just like, now that I think about it, I'm like, man, I really just didn't really heal, but I didn't know like that. I was 25 when I got shot. And then I turned 26 the next year. So it was just like, I didn't think of anything like that. But I would say I wasn't really all the way there. Like after even the incident, like I went back to work 10 days after.
Huh?
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
That's how you know I wasn't right. That's how I be telling people like, why you at work, Mom? Just, I even went to a birthday dinner.
So you just literally, like, I'm assuming obviously the injuries were not so life-threatening.
Yeah. Well, so once again, that's how I knew God was real. So where I got shot at was on my left side, and there's 2 bullet marks to this day, there's scars. But so mine it went in. So they describe it like a bullet going through a balloon, but the balloon never got popped.
Oh, wow.
So it went through everything, went out, and then I got shot. The second bullet went through skin to skin. So that first one, though, was critical because it was like a centimeter from my spleen.
Okay.
If you ever watch any kind of doctor show.
Right.
Okay. If you get your spleen, it sometimes it's hard to operate.
Yes, I've heard that.
So they were like, you are so lucky, because that would have been a wrap. My doctor, when I do my checkup, they're like, that would have been a very difficult time for you. But no, I stay overnight. I healed really good. They're like, okay, are you comfortable to go home? And I was like, yeah, I want to go home. And I just went home.
And so you just went back home and you just started living again.
Yeah, well, so our culture, a lot of people came to visit and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I mentioned this in the documentary, like, you know, they made it, it was like a funeral. And I was like, you guys, I'm not dead. Like, but I'll just letting it be. But we had certain passings that happened recently in our community, people that we knew. So I was like, okay, I can understand how people would see that. But no, and then I told my boss, like, hey, I want to come back to work. And she was like, no, you're not. I was like, yeah, I am. I've been here home for a week now and I need to get out. And I went to work 10 days after. I drove the same car I was shot in, did the same routine. Mm-hmm.
And during that time while you're like doing the same routine, you're driving the same car, you're doing all the things that you did before, were you weren't processing?
No, that's why I wish there was like a machine you could go back and I could watch myself, you know? Because I'm thinking like, I really got shot and I really did all this. And then I went to work and then I'm just living. There's people still coming to my house to see me. I was like, no, I'm gone. Like, what are you guys, you know, just like, I'm not here. I don't know what y'all thinking. But no, I was just living life. And I think that was one of the mistakes, though. Now that I think back, I'm like, damn, I wish I would have talked to somebody or talked to them so I could get that help that I need.
Why do you think that you never sought it out right then? Do you even have any inclination as to like why you had to put it upon yourself to just keep going?
No. So I was trying to figure out that too. Like, what made me not? I think it's just me being who I am. A lot of things even happened to me after, you know, and I still pushed through. Like, and people just like, I don't know how I would have been a wreck. And I'm like, I don't think I have the time to be a wreck. You know, I don't really think I have that energy to be a wreck. What is that going to do for me? You know, but I wish I was. Like, I wish I felt through the emotions and all that. It didn't really hit me till like later.
Okay. And that typically I think happens because sometimes they always say like when traumatic things happen to us, and especially if you have other obligations, it's like, what do they say? Like you process your grief and your traumas through like
differently. Yeah. I'm a different person and I don't know if that's normal. No. But I'm just,
I don't think it's anything to judge. I just think it's one of those things that unfortunately some people process that way. Have you always been that way? Like even before you were dating your daughter's father, growing up, were you always emotional or not emotional, do you think?
I think I was emotional alone, but you would never catch me. You wouldn't catch me emotional in public. You'll really catch you. Okay, there's only a few people that ever see me cry. Okay. And I was the type of I will be by myself. You will not. I'm not the kind of person. I am now talking about my feelings, but I'm very protective with it. Like you know, it's people who know me that's like over 10 years that will understand that, you know.
I get it.
But I was, as a kid, I think I was just very, I swear now that I think back, I think I was just in La La Land. My parents divorced at a young age. So I didn't know how to like cope with that. I didn't understand that. Never knew anybody I knew people that was in single households and all that, but their parents will have like a boyfriend or a girlfriend. So I always saw that, but I didn't see like their dad.
Right.
I you know, yeah. Then I was living with my dad, but no, I wasn't. No, now I think back, no.
Yeah. And I think, and the only reason I ask that is because a lot of times they, you know, our childhoods like really are the foundation for how we navigate certain things. So it just seems like maybe for you, it's always been, you know, just different ways of how you process emotion.
Yeah.
Like didn't let people see you cry. Yep. After, or when you figured out that, hey, maybe I shouldn't have kept going. Maybe I should have taken a moment for me. How did that make you feel?
It was very scary because I always am doing something for like my kids or like a family member or like a friend. So like really taking now the time to do things for myself, that was very scary, you know? And I think it was more of a reality check, like, oh, okay. And then I started to know like what I like and what I don't. I noticed I don't like a lot of things I thought I did like. That's I noticed that when I hang out by myself, I'm like, I don't like this. Like, you know, like
Yeah.
I noticed that.
And I think that's cool that you do. Do you think that maybe the reason that you didn't notice those things that you didn't like was because you were trying to do everything, like you said, for everybody else versus tapping into you?
Yeah. Yeah, 100%. And I think also I didn't really know who I was. Like now I can say, oh, I know who I am. I know who God wants me to be because he's still showing me every day. I get a great opportunity every week. It's like being on this show. That's an opportunity. We're not even in the same city.
I know.
You know, that's crazy.
Right. But it's amazing how connections work.
Yeah. So it's like, you know, opportunity. You know, I think this young lady, like a week ago, interviewed me and she was in Nigeria.
I love it.
You know, so it's like, I'm like, oh, okay, now I'm knowing who I am and my boundaries are real.
Yes.
But yeah, I punish myself because I'm like, oh, I don't want to do that to myself. But now I do not care. I will put you on do not disturb.
I love it.
And yeah, just for like that minute, like I just need a minute.
Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that because you do need a minute and you deserve a minute, you know?
Yeah. Yeah.
You totally deserve it. Do you think that maybe not putting those boundaries, because I know, you know, many people struggle in relationships. I feel blessed. I've never been in a relationship that's been abusive, but I can see how easy the parallels go because when you don't establish boundaries with people, when you don't establish boundaries with yourself, do you see now looking back at that? Do you think that maybe helped contribute to what happened with your ex-fiance?
Yeah, but also I also know I was very young. Yeah. Like I was like 22, 23 when we met.
Yeah.
You know, that was young. That was you're in college. We're just hanging out. We went to clubs, we went to bars. We were, you know, we went camping. Like I didn't even know.
No. Yeah. Because it's funny, like, again, we haven't like talked age or anything like that, but I think about it, it's not like our generation was having conversations about boundaries, about taking care of ourselves. It was more so about, you know, trying to be the best version of yourself, to be pleasing, to be in a relationship. So it is very a different time, I think, for people now.
It is.
Where they can do that. So I get it. What was when you discovered that, you know, your boundaries, when you discovered that you didn't like certain things or you like certain things, what was one of the first things that you did for you?
Took my ass to therapy.
Girl. Right?
Sorry if I'm cussing. I have a
No, you are totally fine.
I have, you know what I also noticed? I'm like, I have a very potty mouth, but I think it's not like bad word. I think, well, no, it is. Sometimes I'll say like, you know, little curse words here and there, but like, I think one of my friends was actually, I got people when watching the documentary, they were like, you're really funny. Yes, I didn't realize that I was funny to people. And I was like, no, but that's literally how my mind is. And I'm just like, no, how come that's what I'm thinking? I just don't know how to say it.
Right. Well, now you say what you think and you mean what you say. I love it.
Yeah. Yeah. But I know now I try to learn how to be more calm.
Yes.
And I remove myself a lot. If I feel like now I'm being disrespected or you're disrespecting something, you know, that's part of me or whatever, I will remove myself. And I love myself way too much that my therapist taught me something. She said, remove yourself. If you're going to cut somebody out of your life, cut them out of love, not hate. Yes. Because that's the time you get to think. You're processing your peace. You're what, you know.
Yes.
So now I'm quick to cut you out of my life. But it's not like I hate you. Right. I just know what's best for me at the moment. And I am fast to cut.
I don't blame you because like you said, you know what's best for you. You know your energy and what you need. And so I think that is a fair thing. And I love how the first thing that you did when you got boundaries was like you took your butt to therapy, your ass to therapy.
I did.
Girl.
I had to. I was I was like, oh, okay. And now I go every 2.5 weeks. I'm like, don't play. She's very adamant with me.
Yes.
But I like it, and I go all the time now, and I, make sure I apply some of the homework, but learning to let go of people that you will think, behavior is normal because you're so immune to it. And now that you're standing your ground, it's unnormal when somebody sees that you're actually doing, there's a lot of people I don't talk to now. And they're just like, oh, but you guys, I'm like, no, from a distance, I'm good though. Hi, how you doing? Praise the Lord. Right. And that's it.
Absolutely. And wish them well on their way and keep your peace and keep it going. Yep. And I admire that because you again are preserving you. It's amazing to me. And I still, again, think about how when you were first introducing yourself, and even when we talked previously, how you don't seem to harbor any type of ill feeling towards your fiance for what happened.
Oh, no, absolutely not. I think maybe in the beginning it was emotional because it was just kind of like, somebody for, like I say, even in the film, like he was my friend. He was like my best friend. We were together for 3 years. We were starting to live together.
Right.
We were together, and that's who I know. And that's who, and that's why I don't, I don't. Because what is that going to do? You have that that feeling that you're angry, and then what are you going to do with it?
True.
Right. There's nothing you could do with it. You can either heal and learn how to forgive so you get your power back, or you could just feel what you want to feel, which is you're entitled to.
Right. And I totally agree. Yes. Yeah. It's just that, to me, how do you get to that?
Yeah, I think for me, honestly, I went to church. And I'm not saying everybody has to go and find God, but what my experience is, or whoever your religion,
absolutely,
there's different religions out there. Yeah. My experience was I got the opportunity to really talk to some pastors, spiritual, like elders in a way of just talking. And I got to be mad, sad, and happy. I got to experience loss of friendships, gain of friendships. I got to check myself of how I'm even operating in my close friendships, because they could be times that I might not be paying attention, and they probably really need me.
Right.
Like a sisterhood, right? Because you always got to have, when you have that sisterhood, it's a, so I think what now, like you said, people be in shock that you're so chill, or you don't even give yourself this much credit that you just did this and this, because I'm not done yet. God's not done with me yet. I'm not done yet. I know he gave me, this was just like a little sprinkle. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
This was a sprinkle. And when people ask me, do you pray? I do pray. And I talk to him all the time.
Yes.
All the time I talk to him, because he knows in my head what I'm there. And I'm like, okay, don't say this, because and people think, oh, your man, no, him. I already know I'm about to feel something,
Yeah.
But, a lot of people know, like a lot of people might know, a lot of people don't know. My relationship is very close. I guess because I'm not as expressive.
Yes.
But I'm very close with, when I talk to God, I have my own relationship with him.
Yes.
I ask him for certain things. He delivers every time.
Yes.
And I think that's why, I'm just really, I think because he got me to calm in this category.
Yes. Were you always a very spiritually led person? Like growing up, was the church very prevalent? Because I know you mentioned your culture. What culture are you?
Oh, so I'm Ethiopian, and we were raised in the Christian Orthodox church, so Greek Orthodox, stuff like that. Yeah. So my parents will go, and then we stopped going. But we go, but I didn't know what was going on. I didn't even know what they were saying. So I'm just going, like, as a kid, and you're with your community. You're like, oh, okay. Yeah. I understood our holidays. I understood our culture, right. Different languages we spoke, our family. We have different religions in our family. My uncles and them are Muslim, like Christian.
Okay.
So right. So it was for me, I had a little different, like, I see, and then my mom goes now. She stopped going because we moved and all this other stuff, like, just distance and stuff. But, and when you're in the community, people be talking when you divorce.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, it's just like talk. But I wasn't like Bible thumper raised in it. I have family and go to church. Okay. But it wasn't. Yeah, no.
It totally makes sense because it's amazing to me because I wasn't. My parents didn't raise me in the church either, so definitely no judgment. They just couldn't get it together. So my dad was Seventh-day Adventist raised, and my mom was Baptist. But they were just like, "Look, we are going to let you as children figure out what you want to do, and we're just going to be here. We love the Lord, we love the Lord, and that's enough." But then you get to those cycles in life, and life starts to life. And I know for me, when I found God, it was at a critical time when I just needed to establish my relationship. So I guess for you, what moment was it? Was it the shooting that prompted you to get even closer into your faith, or was it later in your healing journey?
I would say I felt more. Yeah, I would definitely say, well, before I would go to church with my ex-fiance. Okay. And then the shooting happened. And then my sister and I were looking for churches we could just go to and, find, then we ran into the church by side of the road over here in Tukwila, Washington. And I guess feeling comfortable enough to talk and feeling comfortable enough just to listen. And because everywhere I went, like, especially like events I will go to, like my friends or parties, and it's our community, it's like, oh yeah, she's the one who got shot. Like, and it just happened like a year or two, past. And I'm like, right. So that's, I think, what really led me. And then my dreams, I had these crazy dreams. And that's one reason why I talked to the pastor. Because I talk about in the documentary, like I had this dream, like it just would not go away. And I literally thought I was going crazy. Okay. I was like, I'm going crazy. Something is bothering me. Yes. So that's a way. Yeah. That was one way I was like, okay, somebody's trying to get my attention.
Yes. And that was God probably trying to get you, like, you need me. Yeah. Telling you. Okay. So it's funny, in the midst of all that, God was like, I need you now, and you need me. So I'm glad that you found that faith. How is your faith shaping you in regards to forgiveness? Because again, the level of forgiveness that you have is so beautiful, because I don't care what people say. We all can sit up here and act like we are forgiving, but to actually do it to someone who really hurt you in such a way, how did you find that?
Well, that's an everyday thing I try to work on. Right. Because my time here, I'm not trying to, even though there's people, you know how you move on from old friends, or you don't talk to that cousin, or you don't talk to that aunt or whatever, you be like, I forgive. I could forgive them. Don't mean I forget. Yes. But I know that my life will be better because I have my power back. That's literally what's in my head. I'm like, I know I have the power of myself. I'm not doing this. Yeah. So when people be like, you're okay, and I'm like, yeah, I'm actually better than I was last week, if that's what you want to know. But I just really try to live my life in a way of just be me. Like, I'm not, gonna change. Obviously, everybody has to change, right, for your better self, But I think with the whole forgiveness is, honestly, I don't know. I think I just wake up because I'm like, okay, I'm up. Yeah. That's literally one thing. I'm like, oh, I woke up. Thank God. Okay. All right.
Amen. Yeah. And it sounds so simple, but it's so profound because, I mean, we have to think about that. To get another day above ground is a blessing, right, in itself.
Man. When I hear people, they didn't wake up, what you mean? Like,
Yeah.
you're kind of like, oh, hold on now. So I think that's why, and it's a process. I mean, I have my days that, I think about what if this doesn't happen and did I ruin my family feeling and emotionals? I do think like that, but then also think about maybe this had to happen in order for me to have a platform.
Wow.
It sounds crazy, but maybe God was like, this is going to happen to you, but now you're going to be hanging out with me more. But maybe this is what needs to happen. Because, you hear stories like, some guys, they're gangbangers, they got stabbed, and then they find the Lord, but it took them deep in a hole,
Yes.
to get them. So I look at it that way, but I think forgiveness, it's a beautiful thing. And you will feel good too when you have your power back. It's when you don't.
Yes. And I think a lot of people don't talk about that because, forgiveness always to me sometimes gets portrayed for the other person, but not for you, And so I love how you are reflecting how the power of forgiveness was for you, because looking back now, it's been several years since everything has happened. You've obviously moved into other areas of your life. You're advocating and everything for other people and sharing your journey. How do you feel today?
It's a little unreal, I'm gonna be honest. I get a lot of people reaching out to me about, hey, we want you to talk here, or can you, and I'm thinking like, I wonder what they think of me. Because I'm like, when they hear my story, it's more of getting to the other side, right? That's like my whole purpose. Like, you get to the other side, you guys. Like, it's possible.
Yes.
I think I just feel, I'm blessed. I feel very blessed that I get to talk and I get to meet different people and all over, just different cities, countries. I'm like, oh, great. I'm never used to that. But I also know that if I could bring, just a little light, that's what I'm happy about, especially when I hear women's stories. I get a lot of DMs of these different stories.
Yeah. I love that.
Yeah.
Because we need your voices, because obviously to see someone who has gone through and is thriving, that's a beautiful thing. What is one thing about all of this that scares you?
Actually nothing. I know I'm getting comfortable more for compliments. I don't do well on it.
That's okay. A lot of us don't.
I just be like, huh? But to scare me, no, I don't have nothing to scare. I'm just ready for what he's about to give me more. That's probably what's scary, that I don't know what he's about to do. I know it's gonna be great. 'Cause I can feel it.
Right.
And I know he's preparing me. Like, these interviews are getting me ready for who knows who else is gonna be interviewing me next. I don't know.
Absolutely. I love that you're fearless about that. I always ask like random questions of guests. And so I'm going to ask you this one, even though we're not there yet. Do you have like a word of 2024 or like a mantra, something that you're living to help you stay aligned to your goals for yourself?
I usually try to tell myself, I say thank you to myself a lot.
Ooh.
Yeah. I don't know.
I like it though.
Yeah. I say, oh, okay. Thank you, Tigest.
Nice.
Because I'm always going to thank him, but I'll also be like, I know I gotta give myself some props, some grace. So I thank myself. I thank my mind. I thank my heart, my soul.
I love that.
I thank my personalities.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love that.
And I know once I tell myself this, I know that, I'm going to have a good day.
I like that because to your point, we're always thanking somebody else, but it's very rare that you actually thank you. That made me instantly think of the Snoop Dogg speech when he was like, I want to thank me.
I want to thank me. That's right. When I be watching that or different people, I'm like, thank God somebody's on your level. Thank yourself. Because I thank myself every day. I'm like, oh,
I like that. Because, I hate to say it. It's like people try to make you seem like, oh, that's kind of egotistical, whatever. But you're part of the plan, too. I mean, God put the life in you. So to thank you, you're thanking him, too. That's awesome. I like how you have that approach.
I do try to tell myself this in my prayers, though, or I always let God know, like, I will always represent you. Once you lead me to the right path, I will let them know who you are, or at least just talk about it. Right. Because like I said, people assume, oh, you're at church every Sunday. No, no. But I know that when I do go and I know my relationship with him, I know that I could tell you what he did for me.
Yes.
I know, you know what I'm saying? And I think sometimes when I see people who don't go a lot to church, but they go, it's like a 50-50, the way they represent him though, I'm like, oh, okay. They're more than the ones that go every Sunday.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say let's really keep it a buck here. Yeah. I was gonna say
I know people who don't go to church at all that knows the Bible front and back. And I be in shock. But I'm like, okay, I see.
Yeah. Yeah. And plus, they always say we are the church. Everybody is the church. You're the church. And so I love that you are, standing in that because I haven't been to church in quite some time. Like I said, I wasn't raised in the church, but I try to stand in that as a good representation. Because like you said, when you know how good God has been to you, it naturally shines through because you're going to stand on that.
Yep. I do. I'm like,
right. I don't blame you. Yeah. I was going to say, and I know that's got to be really different from your culture. Like, how does your family support, or how do they feel about how you're sharing your journey and how you are out here supporting women and yourself? How do they feel about it?
I think it was like a 50-50. I know some family. So first of all, our religion, Christian Orthodox, we have different in our family. Like I said, I have an uncle and an aunt who's Muslim.
Right.
Some who's Pentecostal. Like it's mixed. So for us, like my mom was just everybody believes in Jesus or they're Muslim. Let's just go from there.
Right.
But I think it was more like if I was going to be okay, is this trauma for me?
Yes.
And I think that's maybe what I don't really know. I got a few of them was just like, I'm very proud of you. You ready for this? I'm more like, yeah. And I think it was more of a protection thing, but they got to see it in a different way. Like, this is my work. This is what I like to do. This is a different side of me because they know me as, I'm evolving now. I'm changing now that I'm 35. These past, maybe 2 years, I've been very on my trying to get my, my mind right.
Yes.
Because I usually now I have the pop off spirit. I have a mouth.
Okay.
Yeah. And I'm more like I get angry fast. Some days I still get angry, but I have to come back like, okay, I'm sorry I did, because I'm, trying to just keeping it real. Still it's a work in progress, but I think it was a 50-50, like, oh, good job, proud of you. And then someone also is more like, hey, how are you feeling though? Are you okay? This is going out in the public. And I'm like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm pretty fine.
I love that. And because 50-50, that's all anybody could ever hope for, from anyone that they love. My only thought is, how does that make you feel? Do you feel deterred at any way or altered by how they feel? Or are you just ready to keep going?
In the beginning, when some of them was kind of concerned, I could understand. I didn't understand the concern. Then I sat back, thought about it, and we had a conversation. Right. And I was like, okay, I can understand that. But it was kind of more like I have to really do this for myself, because this is another healing journey. And I get the whole, okay, we're here for you. I get it. I appreciate that. I 100%, just as much as you guys will be here for me, I will be there for you.
Yes.
But I know I have to do what I need to do, because, we're getting older. Like, I'm not, my life is not going to be part of your life. Your life's not going to be part of my life. We're going to be intertwined.
Yes.
But it's not going to be in it. There's a different, every journey is different.
Yeah. And I think for children, and that is a hard lesson to learn, because, we're always looking to be pleasing to our families and to our parents. And sometimes everybody has to understand, you got to walk out your journey. And sometimes your mom, big mama, all of them, they're not going to like it. And that's be okay with that.
And that's okay. That's what I say. I'm like, well, this is going to be my life.
Right.
So, but it's an interesting, I had my siblings that was in Washington. They came out to the film, the documentary.
Yeah.
It wasn't, no, they're more they're more like, oh, we're proud of you. I think it's kind of like, oh, my sister's doing this stuff.
Right. Yeah. Same. Yeah, I get it. Mm-hmm. But I love that you have at least that foundation, because I know sometimes, or I'm assuming that it can get challenging, kind of like reliving that story over and over again,
Yeah, no, totally. It was very challenging. Me watching it was challenging. Even the premiere day, like, I was like, oh my God, like, I really did this. Like, I was sitting there and it hit me then. And I was like, ugh. But, I'm proud of myself, and I'm proud that I actually opened my mouth, because there's a lot of times a lot of people didn't know about a lot of things, how I felt, or like, what I think. Because I didn't feel like back then when it happened, I didn't feel as safe that I could talk about it. Yeah. So I didn't really talk about it.
Right, because it seemed to me like we discussed.
I didn't talk about it. Yeah,
what was going on?
Yeah, I didn't talk about it. Right. And when I did, I felt bad, because I felt like it was a burden or something. So now, I talk about it, but I talk if I get asked, or something. It depends who the person is. Because there's certain things that I do still feel. I might be calm about it, and you might see me smile and hang out and look good doing it. But I feel a lot in my head and my body. I feel a lot.
Oh, I'm sure. And that's why I said I'm so excited about you choosing yourself and getting therapy, because what you went through is so traumatic, and to make the decision to share your journey, to help other people, it's like you're potentially putting yourself in a trauma cycle with doing that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So. Yeah, no, I got, it's funny. People are like, oh, and for some reason, it's a healing thing for me, though.
Yeah.
It doesn't trigger me as I thought it would. But I think that has to do with my prayer. Like, I knew I had my vision of doing the documentary, and how it came upon was I'm talking about, I put it out there in God's hands a year before it happened.
Okay.
And wrote it in my whiteboard, like, okay, this is my next goal. I want to do a documentary. Had my interview. And then it was brought up. Oh, it was brought to me. You should make this a film. You should do it. It was brought to me. And I'm like, okay. And I always talk about, I do want to do that. One of my first interview podcasts, I talk about it to them. Like, oh no, I do want to make this a documentary. Not thinking nothing of it. But then a year passed.
Right.
And then with Mr. David Jackson and his whole team, and what he had going on, he was like, can I produce this? And I was like, what? And it took about a year.
Wow.
We started like this literally 1 year.
And see, that's beautiful, because it shows the power of being able to be so intentional with your word. Like, you manifested that. That's what you wanted. And look how it came. And just seeing how you guys work together to get that done. It fits to me what you were saying. Like, he seems like someone who was safe with your journey, with your story.
Yeah, he wanted my story to be heard the way I want. He didn't care how long the documentary was going to be. He was like, we got to get these certain things in make sure this, and filming was a few days.
Wow.
Yeah, filming was a few days. I was exhausted for like 48 hours.
I was gonna say I'm surprised because from watching the documentary, I would have thought it took a little longer to get all of those things out. So that's really good that you were able to do it that fast, but I could imagine you were exhausted. So like
I was exhausted because we had to get certain shots.
Yeah.
We started early in the day, and then so we had probably like a 3-part series.
Wow.
So a lot of people assume that all that happened in that 1 week. Like, no, the editing took a minute, but we had to do scenes of where I grew up at. We had to interview the beautiful women on there. We dedicated a day for them.
Wow.
And they all had different call times.
Yeah.
And then interviewing me, and then getting the lady who helped me on there, meeting her again, talking to her. Because I never really got to see her because I always would send her flowers at the door every year.
Oh, nice.
Yeah.
Just to the door. That's right.
Mm-hmm. And her husband thought she had a whole nother man. She was like, Tigers, I thought this whole time my husband's over here talking about us. He goes,
No, but she was that woman who helped save you. Yeah.
So we had to get her. It took a while.
I love that you always kept that connection with her. I could understand why it would take a while to do it because it is very well done. And guys, I'm going to link the documentary in the show notes of the episode so that you can check it out because it is a really good documentary to watch. But the one question I have for you with this is, why did you decide to do a documentary? Why did you want to do a documentary?
I felt like that was something that was in me. When my book came out, I was like, okay, I knew once I had my book that my life from that time was going to change. Yeah. I knew for a fact. I felt it. I knew it. I said, okay, I know he's talking to me. I know I'm supposed to be writing.
Yes.
You know, so when I wanted to do the documentary, it was more like, I need to say more. I left a lot out of that book. And that's because I was trying to be respectful and trying to, you know, be a little understanding with people's feelings, you know. Once again, didn't think about me. I thought about others. And it was my first book. Now with the second one, obviously not. I'm not going to care. But I wanted to bear it all. Like, okay, this is it. Let's go. And a lot of people say you came out a lot. You are more comfortable out than on the book. I was like, yeah, because I wanted people to really hear it, you know, and see it. And then the fact that it got picked up to do a documentary.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy. And I was approached about it, you know, before I got asked about it. And I told, you know, Mr. Jackson, I was like, I got told this. I don't got the energy. Like, some people wanted to make it like a little movie.
And
I was like, no, I don't want that. And then even with this documentary, we had a director. We didn't go with that director because I was just like, that's not really my zhish.
Right.
Went to another director. We agreed. Okay. I wanted to just say what I wanted to say.
I love that you did that because, like I said, from watching the documentary, I agree. I felt like you left nothing unturned. You laid it out completely. So I get how you would want to own it because, again, that's your story, how you're telling it, and that's the whole thing. No feelings spared. But I still felt like you were respectful. What do you want people to take from watching that documentary?
I want people to know that you could get through it. And once you do, the other side is so much better. Once you find, you know, try to really find your true self, your peace, you know, it's good. And it's an everyday work. It's not going to be perfect every day, but I wanted people to really like hear me out. There's so much, you know, 10 years marked that. Oof. I was 25, now I'm 35, 10 years hit. And I was like, you know what? I'm going to say something.
Yeah.
And I want people just to know, like, you could talk about your feelings and you could talk about your story. You could talk about, you know, how good it was. You could talk about how bad it was. But it's going to be okay. You're going to get through it. you know, and to follow what you want to follow. You know, a lot of people hesitate on like their dreams or what they really actually want to do, but you know, you got to put the work in.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah. And I can obviously see, because like you said, it took you 10 years to get to that place where you were ready to tell it the way that you want to tell it. So I totally prescribe to that, because you're right. Everything is a journey. Now that you, like you said, you're 10 years past, you have 2 daughters. What do you tell your daughters? Or have you shared any of this with your daughters so that they understand more about you?
Yeah, my oldest knows. She was like, no, I know now, you know, because she's 16. My youngest, she's too young. She's 7. So she doesn't really like, she just thinks mommy's on TV or something. She's like,
right.
Like, she's not calm. She's like, oh, you're doing the show? I'm like, you know, or she sees me get my makeup done or something. I'm like, yeah. But she doesn't, you know. But my oldest, she's like, no, I know. And I understand. And, you know, our relationship is even more better now that I am in therapy. And she tells me all the time, she goes, no, thank God. And I'm like, yeah. I was like, you understand? She was like, yeah, no, I understand.
And was that hard for you? Was that hard for you to tell?
It kind of, no, she's very, my oldest is very like, she's an introvert, but she's more like, I already know. But she won't tell me that she knew, but she's kind of respectful about it.
Okay.
You know?
I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. She's more like, I know. I'm like, oh, okay. I didn't want to say much. Like, she already.
Yeah.
I was like, all right, my bad. But
I know. But it's good that you guys are trying to like at least have the conversations about it and that you in therapy and doing those things. Just because I was thinking about like what we were talking about, you know, back in as older generation, I'm older than you. We didn't talk about, you know, care of ourselves and boundaries and stuff like that.
Yep, we didn't. My mom be telling me the same thing. She was like, oh, I never went to therapy. You know, in our culture, we don't do that. We just have the priest or your friends would tell you, you know, don't do this or don't divorce him. I was like, oh, but you didn't listen. She's like, yeah, I didn't listen to that, obviously. But she just like, I didn't have there. I don't know, you know.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, okay.
And to me, that just shows how you are breaking cycles in your culture and in your home. Because you can have, I always tell people, you can have God, Jesus, the Holy Spirit, and have a therapist. Like literally.
Yes, you can. No, yes, you can. I think a lot of my family members, though, they've opened like, oh, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. But I think it, like I said, it's this general, you know, it's the new thing. Like, let me go talk to somebody outside of my mama.
Right.
Or Aunt Judy or something. Like, you know, or the pastor. Because sometimes you need somebody who kind of not tell you what you need to do, you know, but you just want to talk.
Yeah.
And that was literally my thing. Like, I literally started because I just wanted to talk.
And I love that for you.
That's a good therapist.
Yes. Yeah. And you needed that. And then look at where you are now. So like now you've had the documentary, you're sharing your journey. You've seen the fruits of your labor with your community and what you're building. What are you working on next? Like what's coming up for you?
To continue on promoting the documentary. Hopefully, again, we're getting into film festivals now.
Nice.
So that's what we're working on. A lot of people are, you know, catching this film. So I'm like, okay.
Good.
I'm thinking of another project. I have to wait and see. I feel like the journey's not done yet. I feel that he's just kind of starting with me, and I don't know. I feel like something big, you know, big is going to happen. You know, I just can't figure it out yet, but
it'll reveal.
It's going to happen. Yeah, it'll reveal. That's what I said. I'm like, I don't know what's going to happen, but I feel it. But yeah, I'm focusing on that and working on another. I'm debating on like other books and stuff. I have some that came up to me that wanted me, you know, co-write and stuff. So,
yes. I love that.
Yeah. So I do want to like, you know, help, like not help, but like co-write with, that'll be nice.
Yes.
I'm open to that.
Okay.
And yeah, I am. I'm open to it. And yeah, just do more interviews, get the, you know, promotion out and just enjoy.
Enjoy life. I love how, like I said, to me, you seem like just such a free spirit. And for someone who's carried so many weights to be that free, that means your soul must be so beautiful, which is awesome. You do have a beautiful soul.
Thank you.
You're welcome. I was going to say, I always, when I get to this point in interviews, I like to ask like a few random questions. So I already asked you one about your word of the year, your phrase. So then it also makes me wonder, because I believe music is like the soundtrack of our lives. What is one song right now that is like kind of describes the vibe, the mood that you're in right now of your life?
Oh God. I would say right now, well, because he just performed Usher. I've been just doing all Usher.
I love Usher, totally.
And I like me. So I like all kinds of music, honestly.
Okay.
I'm very, I love me some J. Cole.
Yes.
Yeah.
I love J. Cole. Yes.
I like Beyonce. I love her words.
Me too. Yeah.
Like people really got to hear her words.
Yes.
What else? I'm a very like old 90s R&B kind of girl.
Oh.
I'm not.
Okay. Yeah. That's my genre.
Yeah. I love me an old 90s R&B all day. I love me some rap music. Don't get me wrong. Yes. I'll be bumping that trouble. They be looking at me like, what is 4'11" girl bumping this gangster?
They don't understand. Us short girls, we're like gangster. Like they don't care. Like short girls are like gangster. Yes.
And I like a lot of instrumental stuff.
Okay.
Like no words. I just like
just kind of help keep the vibe and keep everything going. And
because I just be home, girl. I don't be doing that. I mean,
yes, you said that.
Like I go out and stuff, and I'm like, no, I go out with the same 3 people unless if I'm not babysitting or because everybody got a man. So I'm just like, I'll watch your kid, I
know what you mean.
And I just be
chilling.
I don't really, I don't go. People assume that I go on. I do not have people think I have a whole man. I'm like, no, you guys, I am by my, trust me.
Are you just like taking a pause for the cause in regards to relationships right now?
No, I just haven't been in one in like 6 years.
That's okay. I'm like 9 years young, so you're
so I just haven't had one, which is fine. But then also, you gotta have time.
You do.
I see my friends, but that's a lot of time.
You do. Are you open to love?
Oh yeah, no, I'm a hopeless romantic.
Okay.
A lot of people don't. A lot of people see like I just gotta be more. I can't believe I'm admitting this to you. I gotta be more like people. People assume that I'm soft. But I'm not.
You're not. You're a little too gay. You're a little too hard right now.
I'm a little. Yeah, I need somebody to kind of like put me in my place a little bit, but respectfully.
I get it.
You get what I'm saying?
I do, because I have to admit, I've opened myself to love, and I have some love going on right now.
I'm open to love. It just ain't coming because they know. God knows. Yes. You do not talk to this man like that. Like he just like do not. And I just like, let me just shut up.
Just always remember what the legend Jill Scott said. If you can check me, you can check me. But if you can't check me, don't check me. Because if you don't do it. Don't do it. So it is a palatable. It is true.
I agree.
Yeah,
I agree. And do you get told though, like you're too like?
I have to admit, previously, before the person that I'm talking to now, yes, because I can slip into business mind real easy, and so I talk to you like it's a job, but I have to admit I've kind of softened with him because
that's good. I trust your heart. You good job. Bless your heart.
I trust him. You know what I mean? He shows me that he is capable of receiving me, and I can receive him.
You see, that makes sense. See, so you got yourself a man.
Right.
Yeah.
He's a man.
That's what I'm talking about. You get my just.
I get it.
I'm trying to say. Okay.
Yeah, I get it. So that's why I am totally sending you good energy and healing that. Be open to it if that's what you if you're ready.
No, I'm very open. No, people would think like, because of what happened. I'm like, no, this happened 10 years ago. I had a whole baby after.
I get it. Yeah, I get it.
100% open to it. I just have to, I guess, pay attention.
Yes. And
I don't pay attention.
I was in that season. When you're ready, you'll pay attention. When you're ready, I'll be honest, it'll just, I literally wasn't thinking this person and smack me in the face.
Yeah. And you know something? I work with like the whole team was was males.
Yeah.
I think two of them was women.
Right.
And the other one's male, and they're just more like, T, you're just like one of them. I'm like, yeah. But I'm not. I'm also not.
You're not there yet.
No, I'm not. I think I'm there, but I think it's just I'm not paying attention.
I know. And it's like you're totally blind. But like I said, when it's the right one, they'll get your attention and hold it. So I'm wishing that for you when you're
they gotta get my attention.
Yeah, you got to get the attention and they'll hold it and value it. So I definitely want to send you as much love as possible. Yeah, kind of wrapping up. I do want to say you are so amazing for everything that you have been through, to be able to stand in the power of forgiveness and the power of yourself. That is amazing. I am so excited that you sat down and talked with me. I only have 2 more questions for you.
Yeah, I'm ready.
1. What is one thing that you would want my audience to know about you that you haven't already said today?
That I am that girl.
Oh,
okay. I'm that girl. I'm that home girl. Don't worry. Don't get it twisted.
I love it. You better stand on I am that girl.
I am that girl. I will always be that girl.
I love that. Stand on it. Because that, again, the audacity to be so bold about who you are. After everything you went through, you're that girl for real. So yes, stand in that.
Thank you.
And then the second question, my final question is, okay, how can we support you and find you? Where are you?
Yeah. So I have my Instagram. It's Love Tigest. So LOVETIGEST 25.
Okay.
Is my Instagram handle. That's the only social media I have, honestly, you guys.
I love it.
And but on there you'll see the link of, you can get my book. I think might be the documentary too, but I know you might have that too on your stuff.
Yes.
Anything you guys, anytime interviews or want to talk, you can always hit me up, DM me, and my team will definitely get back to you guys fast. Website's uploading.
Good.
The Walk by Faith clothing is coming out. Hoodies, shirts, cups, little journals for yourself.
Yeah.
And even if you don't get, a lot of the journals have biblical stuff on it, but that's why I want to make shirts that, with all culture, you got to have faith.
Yes.
So that's like my whole just.
I love it. I'm so honored and excited for where you're going to go. And I want to thank you. This has been fun. I really appreciate it.
I had a good time.
Oh, good. I'm so glad. So guys, that is our interview. I just want to thank Tigest again for coming and sitting down with me and having a really whole conversation. Girl, we talked about it all today. I love that. And so, guys, I hope you have an amazing rest of the weekend. I'll be back next week with a new episode, and we'll talk again soon. Take care of yourselves. Bye-bye.
Bye.